Hello students, as I was doing decision making, I will continue this topic. Yesterday I finished what is decision making, what are factors influencing decision making process. Today I will continue what is contribution of Herbert Simon in decision making. Wherever BPS is concerned, there has been throughout question from this topic, but interestingly, 4852 onwards, there has not been any question from this topic. Last question was asked in 4852. Afterward, there is no question. So this year, we expect question can be from this topic. You can keep this topic as must portion. So there may be chances of asking question importantly. So there should not be any, you can say, non-seriousness on this part of this topic. So I have already discussed what is decision making. I told it is one of the important administrative behavior. It is a mental process. It is a psychological process. It is goal-oriented process. It is continuous process. It is basically a administrative behavior or internal process in which one individual selects out of various alternatives a rational alternative, or you can say if someone chooses one alternative out of various alternatives, that is called decision making process. Getting point? It can be due to two things, either to address some particular problem or to achieve some goal. If you have to achieve some goal or if you have to address some problem and you select out of various options, if you select one alternative or one option, that is decision making process. It's very common phenomena. It is very continuous phenomena. It is all pervasive phenomena in individual life, in organizational life, in private organization, in public organization, in developed country, in developing country. Everywhere decision making is common. And all activity is outcome of decision making, particularly in business organization, particularly in advertisement field, and you can say market operation. Decision has very important role because it is key to action. You can influence action only through influencing decision. That's why multinational company or advertising world try to discover several mechanisms how to induce in decision making process so that one can come in action and do what they wish to do. So this is a very important thing, and now the importance of decision making has been always important, and in business world it is supposed to be key to success. That's why it has been given throughout rigorous importance and influence. Getting point? So today I will discuss decision making. I have already finished that there can be multiple types of decision like groupal decisions, individual decisions, program decision, non-program decision. Then I told there are various factors influencing decision. Sackler-Hudson identified 12 factors. Herbert Simon identified 2 factors which influence decision. Then I told decision making is continuous difficult process, takes place through several stages. Terry identified 7 steps through which decision making process takes place. Herbert Simon in the beginning identified 3 stages. Later on he added one more. So these are stages through which decision making process takes place. Getting point? And I also pointed out that what are problems and hurdles in the way of decision. So there are several factors when you take decision, like historical factor, legal factor, economic factor, social factor, political factor, moral factor, all come in the way and make your decision influenced by this factor. So this thing you require to keep in mind. Today I will discuss what is contribution of Herbert Simon in decision making process. I tell you, Herbert Simon is considered chief proponent or father of behavioral approach. He dubbed principles of administration as proverbs or myth. He quashed or he disqualified the principles of administration. He told as such there will not be any principles of administration, and if there is, it is decision making, because decision making is all pervasive phenomena. It is, you can say, key to action. It is, you can say, applicable in all organizations. All action in administration is outcome of decision. So if someone say what is decision, administration nothing but making decision. There is no exaggeration. Taking decision is administration. You know, the life of an administrator is to take decision. The success of administrator lies in the quality and effectiveness of decision it takes. So this is very important point. That's why there has been too much importance by different scholars on decision making. Getting point? So I already discussed decision. What is definition given by Herbert Simon where what decision is concerned? He said decision is basically rational process of selecting optimum alternative out of various alternatives. Getting point? It is rational process of selecting optimum alternative from number of various alternatives. Getting a point? This as Herbert Simon defined organization as structure of decision maker. He told that decision takes place at every level of organization. In fact, entire organization administration rotates around the decision making process. Post-corp, post-corp, all activity, leadership, communication, all takes place on the basis of decision. So decision is very important phenomena, all pervasive phenomena, and you can say it is indeed the real principle of administration. Getting a point? Then Herbert Simon has written several books and articles. You can point out when you start writing on this topic. Get a point. Some of the book I will like to point out. Then in 1946, he has written one article called Proverbs of Administration. In 1947, he has written book Administrative Behavior. He, along with Thompson and Smithberg, has written a book called Public Administration. In 1958, he has written one book, Modern Models of Administration. Then in 1958, Organization, he has written this book with March. Then 1969, he has written book Science of Artificials. In 1979, Models of Thought. There are certain books written by him. You know, if you start writing his contribution, it would be desirable if you can point out some of books he has written. Getting point? Later on, Simon, in fact, jumped into computers, and that's why he divided decision making into two parts, program decision and unprogrammed decision. I will discuss what is Simon classified decision under two heads, program decision and unprogrammed decision, on the basis of his later entry into computer science. So what is program decision? Program decisions are those decisions which can be predicted in advance. Some methodology can be developed that is defined in nature. Getting mind? What is unprogrammed decision? Which cannot be predicted, which are very unstructured. It can be taken as the situation arises. Get a point? Such as I told, the prelim exam will take place on this and that day is programmed decision. But to combat against corona or lockdown, these are unprogrammed decisions. No one has envisaged about this thing in past. So it came all of a sudden. So it required to take decision in unprogrammed manner. That is why there may be some hue and cry with regard to its rationality, suitability, etc. Getting point? Herbert Simon told decision is influenced by two factors. First, facts, and second, values. Fact means what? The tangible part, which can be measured, which can be quantified, which can be scientifically tested and examined. On the other hand, value are intangible part of decision which cannot be seen, which can be observed only. It can be expressed through preferences also. It can be psychologically tested, not scientifically. Get your point? So in every decision you find there can be both the things, fact elements and value elements. So in fact, if you say decision is selection of one choice out of various choices or one alternative out of various alternatives, rather you can say it is one set of fact and values out of various set of fact and values. Get a point? And due to only variation in fact and value, decision vary. Get a point? Sometimes you find even facts are common, even then decision vary. It is due to difference in or variation in values. Getting point? Sometimes you find even those who are having different in value take common decision. It is on the basis of consensus. Presently the you can say UPA government or NDA government, alliance government having number of alliance or allies and take common decision only, despite having their different political ideology due to one issue that they have to run government, they have to keep either BJP or Congress out of power. So this is the thing required. So that they develop some sort of consensus on their value and form government. So if there is consensus on value, then common decision is possible. Get a point? Facts is concerned with the end aspect of decision, and values are concerned with facts are concerned means aspect of decision, and values are concerned with the end aspect of decision. Get a point? Suppose we take some decision. We take decision on the values, on the basis of our values supported by facts. So facts support it and value determines it. So both play a very significant role. If there is lack of proper availability of facts and values, there will be difficulty in taking decision. So that is very important thing, that facts and value very importantly, so that should be defined properly. Then only decision can be predicted and decision can be a very effective one. Get a point? In general, Simon identified there can be three stages of decision-making process. First, intelligence process. Second, design process. Third, choice process. The intelligence process is the very important one. It is the beginning of decision-making process in which decision maker investigates into the problem, try to understand, strike at the neck of the problem. What is the actual reason of the problem? Getting a point? He requires to spend large time on this topic. Then the next is design process. Here, decision maker tries to discover or identify different alternatives to address the problem, and each alternative may have number of pros and cons. So they require to be investigated properly also. So this is important stage. Mental process exertion it requires, and decision maker requires to give even larger fraction of time on this stage. And last is choice process, in which he selects one alternative out of various alternatives and put into operation. Of course, before going into detail, he disposes of all necessary function for execution. Getting point, but here it doesn't require to give too much time. Here it gives to less amount fraction of time also, because maximum work is over. Getting point? Later on, Simon added one more point, that is called feedback, that is through which the continuity takes place. But in the beginning, he takes only three steps: first intelligence process, then design process, then choice process. Getting point? So what Simon told, that first there is the intelligence process, afterward there is design process, then choice process. But in reality, we find that each and every level there can be the same sequence. Here there will be the same sequence. Here can be the same sequence. Even within it, there will be same sequence. So there is some sort of wheel within wheel situation that becomes very complicated when you take this, because this is some sort of very complicated situation. Suppose I give you a very clear, simple example. Suppose you go to a pharmacist Panditji and ask, Panditji, my times are not going good. Tell me what is situation, why is this situation is occurring? He can ask you, what is your Mahadasa? Then he will identify what is your Antardasa, then Pratyantardasa. Then only he can exactly predict where is wrong, where can be correction. Getting point? So this is the, so here, design, intelligence process, design process, choice process, within this, there will be same sequence. Even within this one, there will be same sequence. There is cycle within cycle, this type of situation takes place. That's why decision becomes very difficult. Getting point? Now, I will discuss Simon developed administrative main concept in decision making process. While discussing about this administrative man, he also tried to narrate the economic man developed by classical theorists. The Taylor, Max Weber, Henry Fayol, all classical theorists worked on economic man concept. The economic man concept is based on classical approach. Here there is normative consideration. That is why it is assumed that the situation is given. Means according to classical approach, when a decision maker requires to take decision, he does not require to do anything because everything is made available to him. First, he has been provided with the problem and its reason exact in advance, so he knows what is problem. He may have number of alternatives, and he also has number of pros and cons about all alternatives. Even what should be criteria of taking decision, it is also being provided to him. When everything is being provided to him, then what he will do? He will do a total rational behavior and he will select the optimum choice. That's why he is called a conic man. Getting one because he respond in normative consideration, not in actual condition. Getting point? So this is basically the approach of classical approach, economic man approach, in which the situations are considered given. It is not to be discovered, it is already been given. Everything is given. Everything is assumed. Then why not one will do the best one? But in reality, administrative man concept is based on, behavioral approach in which how decision maker takes decision, we discuss. What are problem comes, nothing is made available to him. All things he requires to develop himself. Getting point? So even the number of problems he may have under this circumstances, he may have very simplistic view with regard to decision making approach. He usually rule of thumb to take decision in day-to-day life. He consider entire world is empty, so nothing to worry. He doesn't have too much time, he doesn't have too much knowledge, he doesn't have too much resources, he doesn't have too much wisdom. He has very limited everything, that's why he takes very simplistic approach to decision making process. Simon, when he was defining administrative man concept, he tried to understand what is rationality. What is rationality? Then he defined rationality is selection of, you can say, preferred behavior alternative in terms of values whereby the consequences of behavior can be evaluated. So what is rationality? It is some sort of values in your mind having some your preferred, you can say, behavior alternative. On that basis, you can evaluate your behavior and other behavior also. Get a point? Suppose someone asks you whether it is right to give help to poor. The answer may be different. Some person will say, yes, as being mankind, it is our responsibility. Some may say, money is not available everywhere. It is hard-earned money. Why I should give to poor? He says, oh, God has given 2 hands, 2 legs. He should do his own. Why I should do? So there is difference. And I must tell you, all are correct. No one is wrong because their rationality may be different. And on that basis, they are saying. Getting point? So on that basis, Simon divided rationality under 6 heads. So there can be 6 types of rationality: objective rationality, subjective rationality, conscious rationality, deliberate rationality, organizational rationality, and personal rationality. So what is objective rationality? Objective rationality means there is no if and but. If he gets the maximum, optimum or optimum behavior of given things in given situation, Getting point? This is ideal things. Everything is given, and you take the optimum one. That is your, you can say, objective rationality. But what is subjective? It is given in, it is in context of, in relative to actuality of given situation. Getting in actual situation whatsoever we have given, and if you select the maximum one, that is called subjective rationality. And in actuality, if you take decision, that's subjective. And in ideal condition, in given situation, if you take, it is objective. In natural course of action, as being a conscious individual, then it is called conscious rationality. But as being the manipulated person, you take some deliberate efforts in giving response, that is called deliberate responsibility. Here, if you talk of organization and its interest and talk of rationality, that is organizational rationality. And if you talk your own interest and talk of rationality, that is your personal rationality. So rationality is not of one type. It can be of number of types. So since it varies, that's why there is no possibility of, you can say, absolute rationality. There is always subjective rationality. Organizational rationality means there is no full rationality. That is some sort of bounded rationality. Getting point? And you take not optimum choice. You take satisfying choice. So what in reality takes place? If you go to market to purchase vegetable, what is your approach? First thing you take in mind, then you don't have too much time to purchase vegetable. You don't have too much money also to purchase. You don't have too much knowledge also. So you have limited knowledge, limited money, limited time. So you go market and see whatsoever vendors are selling vegetable, and out of which one is sufficiently, you can say, satisfying, you purchase it. That is your satisfying behavior. You cannot talk of or think of optimum choice here. Because it's not optimum, because you have not examined in totality. There are several factors which bound your rationality as bounded rationality. Getting point? So here he has tried to point out that there can be number of things, like you can say time and cost factors, environmental factors, then nature of alternative factors, then awareness of alternative factors, your personal factors, informational factors, organizational factors, nature of organizational objective factors, means organizational factors, information factors, environmental factors, personal factors, all come together and make you a administrative man. A bounded rationality, you respond and you take satisfying choice, not optimum. If suppose someone asks you, how are you? Okay, I am fine. Why not you say, I am excellent? Because you know you are not excellent. In given condition, you are okay, you are fine. No one is excellent, and even no one can claim also. So this is reality you keep in mind. Getting point? So this thing you require. The administrative man is subjected to number of, you can say, variables. So here he identified 8 factors: time and cost factors, environmental factors, nature of alternatives, awareness of alternatives, informational factors, personal factors, nature of organizational objective, organizational factors. So these all make you to respond bounded rational and to select the satisfying one. This model, the administrative man model, is very celebrated one, very popular one, and Herbert Simon got Nobel Reward on economics only for this model in 1978. Anyway, this model definitely one of the best model that you can say in public administration. So celebrated, so you can say useful model, because it has given decision making in positive and pragmatic way. In actuality, what a decision maker does, he discussed this model in this framework. Getting a point? So this model is definitely one of the important landmarks in the administrative theory. Getting a point? But like other model, other theory, it is also subjected to certain limitation. So what are limitation you can point out? Yes. First thing, the critics say that Herbert Simon talked of the fact and values, and the distinction between fact and values is basically one way or other way supporting politics administration dichotomy, which is no more acceptable. Getting the point? Second, critics also second criticism that in decision making, faith, tradition, you know, your you can say belief, etc., play very significant role. But Simon did not talk of this factor. Number three, Simon tried to legitimize human competence by giving satisfying choice. Number four, this model can be popular but not acceptable. Whether you want to become administrative man in reality, no. No one will want to be. If there is someone that is different thing, but no one wants to be poor. No one wants to be having only satisfying life. They want optimum choice. This model does not suggest how to make an administrative man an economic man. So there are some important limitations of this model. Can I repeat this model? First model criticism that it supports politics administration dichotomy in this one way or other way. Number two, it basically legitimizes human incompetence. Number three, it does not take into consideration faith, belief, intuition, etc. in decision-making process. Number four, it is popular but not acceptable. And number fifth, it doesn't suggest how to make administrative man an economic man. Getting point? So now, as I told in the beginning, that decision-making process is full of potentiality. It is basically key to action. That's why there has been throughout research and development in this field. And the opinion and contribution given by Herbert Simon, Bernard, Marx are lagging far behind now. And we are moving far ahead of these things. And daily we are in process of searching new devices, new techniques, new tools, how to make our decision acceptable by others. So now presently there are several directions in which work is going on. First, there is work on how to curb, how to reduce the risk factor in decision making. Number two, I tell you, there is going on work how to define and neutralize non-rational behavior in decision making. Number three, what can be other form of decision we are also trying to find out. Number four, we are also trying to get mechanism how to get our decision accepted. Getting point? Number fifth, we are moving how to make an administrative man an economic man. And last, we are working on innovation and creativity. We try to promote it because they have direct bearing with decision making process. That's why presently there is too much potentiality and huge developments in decision making process, and it is all pervasive phenomena. In future also its importance is likely to increase. Right point? So you try to write one answer as in BPSC in 4852. Two questions I will like to say. First question was, what are the concept of rationality devised by Herbert Simon? Examine it. So you have to point out this rationality topic. And second question was, decision making is dialectical process. It is controversial process. It has number of variables, number of stakeholders, number of difficulty, number of hurdles, number of complications, which make ultimately decision making process a very complicated one. You can give example of Article 370 women reservation, three Jammu Kashmir issue, pork issue, three women reservation, etc. to cite your answer. So okay, you attempt your answer and post to me. If you have any difficulty, you can contact me. Okay, thanks, enjoy.